You're live.
Oh golly, we are live.
Here we are.
And the oven's ready for
oven's ready
cookies.
too.
Which, I mean, I don't blame them. I'm ready for these cookies too.
Everything hits at once. Look good. Okay, so I'm Kelly,
And I'm Amy.
and we're here for tea time.
Yeah. Oh, we don't have our mugs this time.
I forgot mine, although I did stop at Sonic and got an ocean water, which on second, thought probably wasn't such a great
You're
idea.
going to have a blue tongue, yeah.
Blue tongue. Oh well, that's okay. So,
Yes. Well.
but the reason we are here today is to discuss the 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo and to bake chocolate chip cookies. See that? But it is right linked below.
Yes, it is. Linked
recipe.
down in the description.
So.
Yes, this was a request for all of my work peeps. So if any of y'all are watching, these are the cookies you're going to be getting tomorrow. So you're
Probably
welcome.
better be watching
Yeah,
if you requested the cookies.
exactly.
There's a price to be paid.
Yeah. Okay, well, this was my pick. And I was very excited to read it because Taylor Jenkins Reid is one of my favorite authors of all time. This is the 3rd book of hers that I read. So I read Malibu Rising and Daisy Jones and the Six, of course. I gotta say though, I didn't think this one quite lived up to the other two.
Me either.
No.
Me either.
I thought it was still good. Like I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. But Daisy Jones, like it just didn't. I didn't connect with it as much as the other ones. Like
No.
Daisy Jones and the Six, I had Daisy Jones, and I was like highlighting and tabbing the crap out of that book because almost every sentence I needed to remember, and it was just like perfect. And I just was like, Daisy Jones is the best character alive. This book was not that way. Like I have some tabs, but.
I have a bunch, but it's only because I got my tabs while I was reading the book. And so I went a little tab happy because today, because it's been over a month since I read the book, because we're really late. This was actually our May read, so we're over a month late. But I was going back through today to refresh my memory on why I tabbed all of this, and there's really no reason for it. So I just got tab happy. But,
It happens.
It happens. But yeah, I agree. It was not. Daisy Jones and Six is the only other one I've read, and I did enjoy that a lot. But I mean, I can't say that this is like a favorite author or something. But I thought it was good, but it didn't. This book is so hyped. I mean, everybody just loves this book, and I don't get that.
Yeah,
it's good. It is not that good.
Yeah,
but it has a few issues with it that. Plus the story. I mean, I don't know. Just wasn't that engaging. It was okay. But
no.
Anyway.
I agree.
it was kind of fluff, I thought.
Yeah.
Anyway.
There was a reference in here though to Malibu Rising somewhere. The one of her husbands or one of the guys that she dated, I wrote it down somewhere.
Was that for Malibu Rising or was that for a new book? That Mick, wasn't it Mick?
Mick Rivera.
Yeah.
He is in Malibu Rising.
Okay,
I'm
so
pretty
it was
sure
that one.
that he is the father of the kids in Malibu Rising.
Okay.
The superstar father that like is a total deadbeat, but
Well, I mean, come on. I can't ever remember which husband was he. I don't even remember. I should have wrote
he had
that
to
down.
have been earlier on because I have him written down
Is he the one
on
that she
page 13.
ran away to Vegas with?
No, that was
Oh, Mick was the rock star, right?
Yeah.
That they went to his concert.
He was
Okay.
husband. Yeah. He was like
Okay.
way later on that
Yeah.
they became
Okay.
husband and wife,
Yeah.
but they just she mentioned him early in the book though.
Okay. Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yes. But should we start like making these cookies?
Probably
because
should start here
yeah.
because they need some resting time. Okay, so did you figure out how we're going to mix and talk at the same time?
Nope, sure did not.
So we might have some downtime here while we mix. So, okay. Ooh, look at that. 2 sticks of softened butter. The real deal. No substitutes.
It's not. I'm sorry. This is just not the real deal.
It says salted butter. Sweet cream butter.
Is that the real deal?
That's the real deal. Like the non-real deal would be margarine.
Oh.
Like,
Hold it.
Country Crock or something like that. So.
Oh.
Okay. I'll do this.
Always
It was sitting right in front of me.
real butter then.
Ooh.
Always.
Okay. Well, you can chat while I'm
Yeah, I'm looking at my notes over here, see what I got, but I really liked all the headings that they had for each of the husbands.
Mm-hmm.
Just the way that
Yeah, I did
they
too.
were written out. That was really cool. I'm trying to look and see.
I did too. The way they described it. I liked all of the kind of multimedia stuff that she does. She did that in Daisy Jones too.
Oh,
I mean, not really multimedia, but the different newspaper articles that was kind of fun. I thought.
But, yeah. I enjoyed that as well. I kind of made it feel like it was more like she was a real celebrity.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think that added a lot to the story, and without it, probably could have been an even bigger flop.
Yeah.
Flop. It wasn't a flop. I don't want to say it was a
No,
flop because
it
it wasn't. I still enjoyed it, but I just think it was overhyped. What did you think of the main character?
Which one?
Yeah, the writer lady.
Monique. I thought she was dumb.
I agree.
I mean, I didn't bring my notes with me, but I was determined to make notes this time, and then I got the stickers. So what I wrote down was something along the lines of, she's so stupid. I mean, the fact that the whole deal with her editor in the beginning, I mean, come on. She literally, her editor said, come here, and she literally looked over her shoulder like, me? Like, really? Does anybody really do that? No. But then, so, yeah, she gets this. It's obvious her editor doesn't want her to do it because she's so inexperienced and new. But anyway, she gets to meet Evelyn, and she just acts so dumb. I mean, the whole talking about the book. Evelyn's all over, I don't want this. I mean, she didn't come out right and say it, but I mean, really, Monique was just not getting it. And it was so clear what Evelyn was saying. And she just was being stupid and, huh? What? You want me to write a book? Oh, really? It took you 3 pages to figure that out?
Yeah.
She just was made out to be very dumb.
Yes. Which I think is interesting that they would have a journalist be dumb like that, because normally journalists are very, I don't think that they're stupid.
No,
They're
not
like,
at all.
And the fact, so Evelyn Hugo offered her this book deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Guaranteed to make her thousands of dollars.
Because everybody wanted Evelyn Hugo's real story.
Right. She'd be the only one to have it. And she had the audacity to sit there and be like, I have to think about this. Like, I don't know if I really want to do this book deal. I'm like, serious? I literally was like shaking my damn head. This is literally the opportunity of a lifetime. Don't be a wussy. Okay? Like, I understand that she could have lost her job with that. But it's like, here is this woman who's literally offering you a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Like, you're not going to need your job at the magazine after this.
Well, but I think she does say something like later in the book, though, when she's like telling Evelyn, you have to give me a date because the deal was she couldn't publish it until after Evelyn's death. That was the kick. And she was saying, I don't know when I can't lose my job when this might be decades before I can publish this. And Evelyn says something like, well, you have high hopes for my life expectancy or something like that. But so, I mean, I kind of get it. But at the same time, really, I mean, so you get fired from one place. Like, there aren't a million other.
And it sounds like that one place didn't appreciate her journalism abilities already.
Right.
Like just giving her a whole bunch of like fluff pieces and stuff like that.
Stupid stuff. So
Yeah. So I don't know. I
was just
think she would have been okay.
Didn't get it. I mean, it went on for paragraphs.
She was dumb.
And she was dumb.
She was so dumb.
She was so dumb. And so then you start thinking, why? Why? Because it was very clear that, and the why was dumb too. Sorry, it just was. But we'll probably get to that later. But okay.
I think we're supposed to mix this for 3 minutes.
Small break. I'm going to cream the butter real quick. We'll see how we do here. Maybe we can.
Oh, it's really not that loud.
That's low. Well, that's not too bad.
Hopefully that sound doesn't.
I don't know. We could probably, I mean, most of the time you cream the butter and sugar together, but this one wants you to whip the butter first. So whip it.
Whip it good.
I'm not.
We need some Devo hats.
Hi, babe. What's going on? You don't know what breakfast thing, do you?
Bailey's next to the computer, just like looking over the table.
Okay. Huge, like, cat eyes saying, what the hell? Watching the mixer.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway. Okay, I'm going to have to do this a little bit more.
Okay, 3 minutes from now.
I don't think we need to do 3 minutes. I think we'll be fine. Look, I'm messing with the recipe already.
We started messing with it before we even like began.
But really, I mean, come on. It's okay. So the recipe, much like Evelyn Hugo, is just a tad bit. Not sure how it's the word.
Particular.
Here I go thinking I'm going to be cute and clever, and it's just not working. Pretentious. Pretentious is how I'm going to go with this because it wanted real, natural cane sugar. Like, just sugar isn't good enough. And it says on the butter, the real deal, no substitute. Yeah. I think we're fine. All right, so
Yeah, I think we're
okay. Add the cane sugar and brown sugar.
okay.
Sugar over there.
Yep. Okay. Sugar. How much are we supposed to add?
Well, it says 2/3 cup natural cane sugar, 3/4 cup if not high altitude.
We are not high.
So 3/4 cup cane sugar.
Okay.
I'm on these things. Do I have? Okay.
Over there.
Okay. I'll do. Those are cute.
Yeah, Pioneer Woman.
Oh,
From
they're like all
Walmart.
different. Those are cute. Oh, Pioneer.
Do you not like Pioneer Woman?
I don't mind Pioneer Woman, but she's a little, I don't know. I don't think that Ray, is it Ray? She killed me when I was watching her one time, and she said that you definitely had to grate your own cheese. Using that bagged grated cheese was against her religion. And I was like, honey.
Canceled culture right there. Cancel her.
I had, my own studio. No, what third? We can guess.
There's a little one.
Is there? Okay.
The
Like,
fourth cup is broken.
if I had a whole other house to house my studio in, I could probably have it be against my religion too. But okay, fine. Anyway, that's just me. Obviously, I would. My dad actually loves cream.
Really?
Watches her all the time.
Dang. Okay. And then
Brown sugar.
3/4 cup brown sugar.
Yes. Get a spatula.
Yeah.
Over there somewhere.
It's in the cabinet next to the oven.
Okay.
On the right side.
Next to the oven.
Yep. Up the top.
I'm guessing this is also Pioneer Woman.
It is.
I don't think we're being very entertaining right now.
No, I mean, well, we're trying.
It's cookies, people. It's cookies.
We lost our one watcher.
Oh man, that's so sad.
It's okay. We do tea time for us.
We do actually.
Okay.
Okay, go on. Go on with something. Book time. Books.
Yeah, books. Let me see what my tabs are. From Nick Rivera, from Malcolm. Did you have a favorite husband?
Harry.
Or
I mean,
it has to
Harry.
be Harry.
Harry was actually my favorite character, all the way around. Honestly, I think he was kind of the only decent one in the bunch.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. Seems like everyone else was just so caught up in fame or just so caught up in being stupid and woe is me. So it's like
It's so dumb. So dumb. But okay, so do you want to go by husbands? Should we go through the book by husbands?
yeah, we can do that.
Okay, so the first husband.
That was Ernie Diaz.
Yes.
Poor Ernie Diaz.
Poor Ernie Diaz. Which she manipulated into him into marrying her so that she could get out of New York and go to LA because he had a job in LA and he was going and she wanted to go too. So basically she shows up at his apartment. She's what, 14?
Yeah. She was
Shows up at his apartment and seduces him so that he will marry her. Yeah, that was basically his role as a husband.
Yeah, and then she just up and left him when the next best husband came along, which was Don Adler.
Is that what happened?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure because like they were together and he was really into her and enjoyed having her as his, and then she started to take some movie roles and kind of get into the fame side of things, and it proved more beneficial to her to marry a celebrity than stay with her. And I think it was Harry or someone was like pushing her to go on these dates with these celebrity guys so that she would get like some attention from the media and whatever. All while she's married to Ernie, mind you.
Mm-hmm.
And then she just one day just leaves him and goes off and marries, I think Don Adler was the next.
Was it her idea to divorce Eddie, or was that something like the studio encouraged her to do? I can't remember for sure.
I don't know. I think that it was her, like,
It was her idea.
I don't know. I don't remember. All I know is that they got divorced, and then she married Don Adler. And I hated him.
Well,
He was a dick.
I think you were supposed to.
Yeah. Like, the title of his little section is accurate. Like, yeah. I literally wrote in my notes, it says, goddamn Don Adler is right! Exclamation point. Like, I hated this guy. But I really liked the way that Evelyn talked to him. Like, even though he was just terrible, she didn't let that stop her from, like, speaking her mind. And just being like, this is how it's going to be, kind of a thing, I guess. I don't know. I wrote down on here that I'm like, the way Evelyn talks to Dawn's like, girl knows her worth and is making him work for it. I love that. I want to be like that and have that confidence. And at 18, like, what? Oh, because that's what it was. At the start of their relationship, before they got married or whatever, like, he was pursuing her. Dawn was pursuing her big time. And she was not making it super easy for him to get her.
Right.
And so, yeah. That's where their comic came from. Gotta make them work for it. Can't be easy. Those guys gotta show those guys what you're worth.
Well, she was already at that point well aware of where her power was, and that was in the way she looked, and that people wanted her. I mean, she basically got her first movie role because she gave the executive producer a blowjob. I mean, that's basically what happened.
That's Hollywood, baby.
Yeah. So, I mean, she was well aware of how she, I mean, obviously from 14, because she used the way she looked to get married to Ernie and get out to LA. So, yeah. But then he turned out to, of course, be an abuser and an alcoholic. And
yeah, it's just no bueno. And she eventually got out of that marriage, but there was something weird about that because he didn't want her to divorce him.
no.
So how did she? I don't know.
Well, he was the big star of the studio. And so he was threatening her that if she left him, that she would have no career. He would make sure. And I think the studio was like, they're gonna leave. They're gonna make Don happy because he's the big star, and she would just be out in the cold. Mm-hmm. And she left him anyway. But didn't something happen? I think she was hiding all the bruises and everything, but I think then he went too far, it seems like.
Yeah. So they went to a party, and was he the one that she was told that he was like upstairs getting a blowjob from some of the servers or whatever?
Yeah. Well, okay, so it's probably also worth mentioning that's during this time, this marriage, when she's married to Don, that she met Celia.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, their first meeting's kind of funny, too, where Celia was wanting Evelyn to go to this place with her, and Evelyn took her somewhere else and basically said, I know you're trying to use me. Evelyn could be such a smart cookie for being so stupid at other times. I mean, she just really read people well. My arm is going to be constantly in front of my face, and I'm sorry about that. She was really good at reading people and knowing what they wanted. But I think she only, I don't know. She knew how to manipulate people really well. But then there would be other times that she was like totally oblivious, and she ended up in some of these marriages because she totally misread the situation. It was kind of dumb. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know.
Oh, it was at this party that her and Celia
first kissed.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
In the laundry room closet.
And there's a metaphor for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't leave that closet together, and they're sure not leaving it for a while.
Yeah. And that brings me to the next point where Monique was just stupid. Was, when they paused the story for a minute, and Monique asks her, who was the love of your life? Because everybody was always like, which of the husbands or whatever. And Evelyn was so nervous, and Monique says, it's okay, really. Anyway, I did not like Monique.
No, I didn't like Monique either.
She talks about how she loved Don Adler at first, mm-hmm. and how she was attracted to him.
All valid, makes sense.
And then she talks about this, or tells about this encounter with Celia and how all of a sudden she's attracted and all of this. And of course, then when when Evelyn admits that Celia was the love of her life, and the first thing that Monique says, like a dumbass, is, so that's what you want to tell the world, that you're gay?
I don't even think
Or
she
you're a
said
lesbian?
that you're a lesbian. She
That you're
didn't
a
say
lesbian?
gay or anything, because it's like, clearly this woman is bisexual. Let's get that out here.
And that's what
Oh yeah,
Evelyn
here.
comes back and says, is that, haven't you even been listening? I'm like, you are a journalist.
Yeah, it says it right
And you
here.
can't figure that out?
Yeah,
Come
it's
on,
like,
honey.
Evelyn, who was your great love? You can tell me. And Evelyn looks out the window and then says, Celia St. James. And then Monique goes like, so this book, your biography, you're ready to come out as a gay woman. Like, oh my gosh. And then, like, what? And then Evelyn comes back at her saying, haven't you been listening to a single thing I told you? I love Celia, but I also before her loved Dawn. In fact, I'm positive that if Dawn had turned out to be a spectacular asshole, I probably never would have been capable of falling in love with someone else at all. I'm bisexual. Don't ignore half of me so you can fit me into a box, Monique. Don't do that.
Yeah.
I mean, girl.
In other words, don't be a dumbass.
Yeah. I mean, no wonder Vivint or whatever the magazine that she works for hasn't been using her whatever, because clearly she's not good.
And, of course, it's not clear this early on in the story why Evelyn chose Monique, handpicked Monique.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. So kind of at this point, you're assuming she must be really good. Her stories must be good. She must be kind of an up-and-coming hotshot.
Mm-hmm. I figured there had to have been some personal reason. Like maybe Evelyn was related to her or like something like that. Because based on how she was acting and handling all of this, there's no way that she wanted Monique for her writing abilities. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I think Monique is
not
good. I don't think Evelyn would just throw it to someone she has some personal connection to even if they sucked. But I don't know. She just
well, okay, I'll come back to it later on. But I think that there's a part that could have been completely left out, and there's a perfectly reasonable explanation for why she picked Monique. Built into the story without the whole personal connection drama crap. But anyway, Monique is dumb. And such a doormat. I mean, really. It's like she goes back and forth. She's like stupid doormat, and then all of a sudden in the next one, she's like some hard, heavy-hitting, making deals with Evelyn, feeling. And then the next time, she's back to being stupid again. So, I don't know.
Well, by the end of it, I think she really grows a lot as a character.
You think?
I think so. I don't know. She's finally starting to like stand up for herself and not be such a doormat and try and go after what she wants. And
Seems kind of stupid.
She is still stupid, but she's at least working on looking out for herself more, I guess.
Anyway, I mean, when she actually makes the deal with Evelyn, like, okay, so she's supposed to be writing this story for her magazine, and Evelyn, blindsides her with a book deal instead, but not. And she doesn't quite know how to handle it. I mean, because she doesn't want to get fired from her job, but she wants the story. So she basically works out a solution and tells Evelyn, look, you're going to have to give me a story. Because as I said, at this point she's saying it could be decades before you let me publish this book. And I can't lose my job. So you're going to have to let me do a story and I'll write your book too. And the story could be a lead-in for the book. And then you're going to have to do a photo shoot too. And she does. She's really smart when she does it. And I think she said something like, now I have to Evelyn Hugo, which was kind of cute. Yeah. So she had moments, and then she would go right back to being so her character was inconsistent. That's, I guess, what I'm getting at. Yeah. Vanilla kid.
It made it hard to
Yeah,
For a teaspoon.
it did. Well, she was just dumb. Sorry.
I agree.
Her character was not well done.
I agree.
Teaspoons. Teaspoons.
I had something marked on page 84.
So really, when she leaves Dawn, she's kind of with Celia at that point, right? Because isn't her third marriage the one with the Vegas dude?
McRiva. Gullible McRiva is what
That was the Vegas
the
one, wasn't
singer
it?
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that was to detract attention, I believe, wasn't it?
Yes, I think so. Well, I don't know. Because it was at this point, like, Dawn did have her kind of blackballed on
Mm-hmm.
everything. So, was it during this time that she went and did the French film?
I think it was after. It was after, because I think there were some rumors going around about her and Celia. And so in order to kind of be a distraction,
Mm-hmm.
she ran off to Vegas and had a quickie marriage, and then of course it was annulled like the next morning.
Yeah.
And I think that was because she had to just, distract from.
Yeah, because Mick had been after Evelyn for a while. And he actually had called her out at some point saying, no, so it was during this time that she did the French movie. Because in here, it says that it was her appearance in that movie that got Mick's attention. It's like, I've seen Boot on Tron. I don't know French. 3 times now, and I'll see it a 4th. I just can't get enough of her coming out of that lake. And then the people ask, well, would you like to take Evelyn out on a date? And he's like, I'd like to marry her is what I'd like to do.
So Mick was the rock star. He wasn't the rock star.
He was the singer. He was the singer.
He was? That was then? Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I should have reread this book.
I thought it was later on in the book too, but that's what it says next.
Because they went off to Vegas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then one of Evelyn's maids or whatever, I think, put in a thing to the newspaper or whatever, hinting that her and Celia were more than just friends.
Well,
and then she went to mix
the whole, that Don wanted a baby and Evelyn wouldn't give it to him, and and then they had to fake the whole miscarriage thing.
Yes, I forgot about that. That was rough.
Yeah.
That was
But
rough.
she was basically, Don was screwing up because he was drunk all the time, and she kept trying to cover for him. Because she kept telling him, look, this is what you're going to do.
I have like all of these notes on Dawn Eller that I'm just now reading. Like, oh god. Like, oh my god, that ass. I knew he would try to mess up her life. Oh, he makes me so mad.
Yeah. So he did, in effect, have her blackballed.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was a foreign film that got her back on because of her performance in that. She got all kinds of attention again for herself that then Dawn couldn't. She built herself back up again.
Yeah. Which, props to her, man.
Yeah. But she and Celia were basically living together at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think there was rumors that were starting. And so in order to get past that, then she went and married Nick, apparently.
Yeah. Yeah, because, I mean, back then especially, to participate in those activities, whatever you want to say, to be bisexual, be gay, whatever, was very, very frowned upon. And if anyone, especially a celebrity, were to come out and say, that's what I am, not only are they going to be blackballed, they could be thrown in jail. They could be thrown in like a mental asylum. There was just a lot of things that could have gone wrong. And so then she had to convince Celia that she wanted to, or that she needed to go marry McRiva.
Right. So she basically manipulated all of this into him going to Vegas with her, and she put on like this world-class act that convincing him that he wasn't going to get to sleep with her unless he married her. And so
I remember that.
they were drunk, or he was drunk anyway, and so he did, because that's all he wanted. And then the next morning, which she knew would happen, it was all, hey baby, so sorry, this isn't going to work out. But,
Well, because too, what she did is she made it so that the sex was really bad.
yeah,
She just like straight like laid there like a dead fish and let him do what he wanted. And the whole time he's like been building this up in his imagination, being like, this is going to be amazing. And she made it so bad that he just...
She made sure that the fantasy bubble burst. And so, and then she said too, I think, he was the kind of man that wanted to chase. And once he got what he wanted, he wasn't going to want it anymore. And she made it bad so that he really wouldn't want it anymore. And so the next morning, of course, everything was annulled. But they leaked it to the papers so that they would know what happened.
Yeah.
And of course, Celia was crazy. Just like nuts. Sorry. She was.
I think she had... Yeah. I think she was just very insecure.
Well, yeah.
Because, I mean, unlike Evelyn, I don't think Celia was attracted to men. No. But Evelyn was. And so even though she knew that all like these marriages and relationships were like fake with these men, like it was still, she's like, well, there's that possibility that she could be for them or like whatever. It's just like all this added pressure. And I think that affected her mentally a lot and made her seem very crazy at times, for sure.
Well, I don't. It was like, okay, so out of the Vegas night, Evelyn gets pregnant. And when she goes to tell Celia, and she basically already has a plan to get an abortion, and she tells Celia, and Celia like goes off the deep end because I didn't think you'd sleep with him. She was like, I told you I was gonna, make him marry me and all this. And she's like, well, I didn't think that included sex. Really? Yeah. Why not? Why did you not think that? That doesn't make any sense to me. Right. I don't know. But anyway, that was kind of the start of a crack in their relationship. Because, I think Celia was very aware that Evelyn, being bisexual, she didn't have to just compete with other women. She had to compete with women and men instead of just other women. So
that caused Celia to leave, too, the pregnancy. She left. She left. It says right here that you're a whore, Evelyn. You let men screw you for your fame, and that is why I'm leaving you.
So she left her. Yeah. I don't think that one lasted very long, though, did it? It was the one after the other movie when she was in that movie with Don Adler that really.
That was like years long.
Yeah.
I think this was just a few
months. Anyway.
But yeah. I honestly though, I don't know why Evelyn told her about the pregnancy to begin with. If she was just planning on getting rid of it anyway, why even like bring it up? Then they wouldn't have had the fight, and Celia wouldn't have left, and they could have just been like, whatever. Because clearly Evelyn didn't care too much about the kid.
No.
So
no.
I don't know. I feel like some things were just best kept a secret.
Well, no. I don't know that she did. But anyway, kind of maybe another one of those points of inconsistency in the story. Yeah. Things were kind of strange. Okay, I need a bowl.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I do. Okay, keep talking.
The bottom cabinet next to the dishwasher. Okay, who do we have next? Clever Rex North. I don't know if I remember who Rex was.
Rex was the one that they basically made a deal. He was marrying her for, I don't remember what.
Well, didn't he?
They made a deal.
Was he the one that got the girl pregnant and then?
That was later. That was when they were married. Yes.
So many things happening here.
I don't know, but I think if you read in the front of that chapter, it says why they did it. But he needed something and she needed something, and so they basically got married. And then they both had affairs.
Mm-hmm.
They were basically, name only. They got to do whatever they wanted, as long as it was discreet.
Yeah, she told him that she didn't think that she probably wouldn't ever sleep with him.
Because that was the one where he kind of came into her room one night. That was when she won her Oscar, wasn't it? Afterwards? Yeah. And he came into her room. Are you sure? But yeah, then he was having an affair with a person and she got pregnant and he was in love with her. And so he and Evelyn got divorced. But I can't remember for sure exactly why they got married in the first place. I just remember it was an arrangement.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out
So that was what, number 4?
Yep, that was number 4.
But it seemed like it went as an arrangement because once again she needed to hide something or. Sorry, we're probably not very entertaining.
I just don't remember why. Were they in the movie together? Were they in Anna Karenina together?
I think so.
Yeah. They met during the movie and fall in love.
Except no. Oh, it was to boost the movie. That's what it was.
Oh.
Yeah. I remember that now.
Yep.
It was to boost the movie.
Yep. And then that was when Celia got engaged to the quarterback guy, Braverman.
Yeah.
And then, Anna Karenina did really well.
That's why she won her Oscar, wasn't it? I think.
Maybe.
I think.
I know that she was. I don't know if she. Did she win it? Did Evelyn win an Oscar?
I think so. Yeah.
I know Celia won.
I think she did.
More than one.
Baking soda and salt. Okay, that's what I kept trying to keep missing myself. Well, all in all, that kind of chapter was boring.
Clearly, since neither one of us can really remember.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't anything kind of dramatic in the marriage itself. I think it was more about, because remember, no, maybe that's when Celia won her first Oscar for Little Women, because Evelyn kissed the TV and broke her tooth. Remember that?
What was it, that one? I thought that was later.
No, because later on when they were apart,
Celia
won another Oscar.
And then
and she said that if anybody feels like kissing their TV, and that's why Evelyn then reconnected with her then. But that was later on. But all in all, that was a really kind of boring part because it was kind of just a lot of melodrama, I thought.
Yeah,
nothing terrible, exciting happened. That was just
she got signed to Paramount. Her and Rex to a 3-picture movie deal.
Yeah, because
of their marriage, and then that's.
Yeah, they were like the power hot couple or something like that. I don't know. It was just boring.
It was.
I honestly, that was kind of the way it was with all of the marriages, because they were all the same. It was all to put up a front. It was all to distract from something else. It was the same flippin' story every time. It really was. And I'm like, what's the point of having 7 if they're not different and unique in and of itself? And they just
Right. It was all just use, abuse, and move on.
pretty much, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. Then he has having an affair with, I think, another one of the actresses
Joy.
that was in Little Women with them.
Says Joy.
Yeah. And
and then
she got pregnant, and he wanted to marry her. He was in love with her.
He's
So Evelyn was like, "Well, okay, let's get divorced then."
Yep. And then that moves into her next husband, which is Harry.
Harry.
Because Evelyn came up with the story that, Rex was cheating on her while she was also cheating on him with Harry.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So they had to set up a whole thing where the media caught him in flagrante. Okay, sure, whatever.
Yeah.
But, or nobody would believe it,
Mm-hmm.
basically. So yeah, that's kind of where that went.
Yeah.
So then, yeah, they got married. And again, my favorite marriage because it was as close to a real marriage as she had.
Yes.
So, which was...
And it was also...
It was also a front.
It was also a front, of course, because
Harry came up with that
gay.
one, though. Yeah.
Yes, because he was seeing Celia's husband.
The quarterback.
The quarterback. They were in love.
Mm.
And so then, this is how Evelyn and Celia get back together.
They basically, all 4 of them. Well,
They switch spouses.
They don't live together, but like
they live close.
Harry
to
and
each other.
Evelyn have an apartment, and Celia and John, right? They have an apartment. But basically, Harry and John stay at John's place, and Celia and Evelyn stay at Evelyn's place, and like everybody's all about that. These 4 are just such best friends. And then Evelyn decides that she wants to have a baby. And so she and Harry have a baby, which, again, caused problems, even though Celia was like, yeah, if you want to have a baby, you should have a baby.
Right. But she apparently must have forgotten how you make babies because then she's just like, will you have to sleep with him?
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah. And then there was the whole thing about, which I didn't, for these 2 being, the love of their lives or whatever, there was that whole part in there about, she talked about how Celia just wanted what everybody else wanted from her. Every other man in Hollywood was to get her hands on her breasts. And it was okay for her to be a mother, but she just couldn't act like a mother. Celia wanted the bombshell.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, this is the love of your life? This is as shallow as anybody else.
Yeah.
With a crazy woman. Because she was just like one of those people, insecurity's fine, but she was one of those people that took it over into crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No,
But then again, Evelyn did, I think in the day-to-day, they were fine, but yeah, then Evelyn did on several occasions give Celia reason to. Because the next thing was just craziness.
Yeah. Are you talking about the sex scene?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in the meantime, Don cleans out. He's not, he's recovering alcoholic. And he comes to apologize to Evelyn because he asks for a dinner or something. And she didn't know what to expect, but she goes.
I wouldn't have gone, but whatever.
I truly think that Evelyn is one of those people that lived to create drama. Like, she had to have drama in her life. But anyway, there you go. There's that. So, yeah.
Yeah. So they meet for the dinner. And then Don is talking about how he's going to be starring in a movie, but his last movies weren't doing well.
No,
Because he was like an action western movie or something, and they were tanking. And so he needed someone to boost his ratings or whatever. And they pulled in the French director, I think, to do a movie with Dawn and Evelyn.
Max.
And it was
that Max?
Max Gerard. And the story was about like these two people who were like madly in love, and like one of them was like a drug addict or something, and the woman was trying to help him through his whatever. So it was kind of similar to their own lives a little bit.
Yeah.
But Max decided that it would be better to have a sex scene in the movie to like spice it up, because otherwise it just didn't show what she was getting from.
Why she stayed.
Yeah, like what is the point? Like it wasn't showing how much she loved him or whatever, I guess.
Yeah.
And Evelyn agrees to do the sex scene.
They do it.
Yes! Without talking to Celia.
Without saying anything to Celia.
Yeah. She agrees, and then they do it that day, and then she goes home and is like, would it be okay if I do a sex scene with my ex-husband? And Celia's like,
having already
hell
done it.
no. And
Well, at first she says, I don't want you to, but I understand it would be a great thing for the movie. I understand. And Evelyn's thinking I'm home free. And then she says, but I can't. Please don't do it. And then she has to tell her she already did it.
Yep. And then I think that's what really broke them up for quite a while.
Yes. Celia left at that point.
Yeah. So, kind of destroyed their whole little happy family there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's like, Evelyn, I can't live with my heart half broken all the time.
But that's where Max comes back in to her life. And all of a sudden, he's madly in love with her and wants to marry her. And she thinks that she loves him too. And so she and Harry get a divorce. She didn't want to divorce Harry, but Harry basically said, if you think you can have a marriage with love, you ought to. And so they get divorced.
Well, and two, Harry was going through a lot at that point because John died.
Oh, that's right. Because she kind of had to. He went off the deep end, and she kind of had to pull him off the edge.
Yeah. So, her and Harry had a little baby girl named Connor, and they were doing really good with the co-parenting and everything like that. And then John ended up dying. Harry became very distant and just he drank a lot.
Just really heavily grieving.
Mm-hmm.
And Evelyn pretty much saw him through that. And then Max started making moves.
Yeah.
And Harry kind of got better. And that's when.
This was when she won her Oscar. That was after that. It says that she pushed Harry back into his work to try and distract him from everything. Get him living life again, and Max Gerard sent her a script that he was having trouble getting made, and
just to input, making these cookies doesn't take nearly this long. We keep getting terrible distracted, and it doesn't. It's this really simple recipe. If you're watching us for the recipe, if anybody's watching us at all, probably not.
Nope. But that's okay. But that was. They won an Oscar for All of Us. That movie,
right?
Max. And then it was after she won the Oscar that Max came after her and asked if he could marry her. Yeah. Yeah, because Max sent her a note asking if he could marry her, and then she showed Harry the note, and then he was just like, well, nothing's going to change if we get divorced. Huh?
Yeah, he sent flowers or something. The note.
Yeah.
Gotta do this real quick.
He wanted her to divorce him in case Max was the love of her life, or like whatever. She could have actual love with somebody and not just a friend.
Right.
Because he was just like, well, I've had my love and he's gone. You deserve a chance to have yours because your love is gone too, Celia, you know. He's like, it should be somebody.
Okay.
Or at that point, Celia was seeing that Joan lady. They were hanging out a lot. So it was kind of like, Evelyn's like, well, shit.
Right.
So Max and Evelyn get married, and this is husband, number 6? At this point? I think we're on 6.
I think so. Because who was the last one? I'm trying to remember. Who the last husband was. I don't even remember.
I don't know.
Maybe that was the last one.
It had to have been, because I don't see another.
Carrie was her last. Max was her last.
Robert Jameson.
Oh, I think that was another one of this kind of a studio pairing to kind of support both their careers. No.
He's the older brother of Celia.
Celia's brother.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah, because that's how her and Celia got to be together again.
Well, no,
like,
she married her brother so they could be together.
Right, that's what I mean.
It was
like,
after Celia won that Oscar, and she said that thing, if anybody feels like kissing their TV, and that's when Evelyn said that's an open door. Mm-hmm. So she called her or something and arranged a dinner.
Yeah.
One of the truly painful parts of dialogue in this book. Some of the dialogue was just not. It was just dumb. I mean, nobody talks like that. It was stupid. Okay, you want to hand me your chocolate chips?
Okay, so I have just, I think these are dark chocolate. Yeah, dark chocolate.
Okay.
And semi-sweet.
What is the other one? Is it semi-sweet?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do dark.
You're going to have real chunks of chocolate.
Like, yeah, man. And these cookies. Oh, this is a little floury.
That's super good. Okay. I can cut off my finger.
I probably should have been talking about, the recipes I was doing it. Everybody kind of knows, right?
It's in the description. You can go check it out in the blog post.
Yeah. It really, really is just your standard chocolate chip cookie recipe.
Yeah.
Let's chop this up so we're just fine. So anyway, yeah.
Should we discuss Connor and her wild ways in New York City? This girl done goes off the deep end.
Yeah.
Like,
that was that just when Harry left, or was that when Harry died?
That was...
Wasn't that when Harry died?
Yeah.
Off the deep end.
I think so, because I wrote in here, I feel like Harry was killed off just because it was easiest to do. And then I have a comment about, like, Connor went cray-cray.
Okay, so now we're getting to the point where, he was killed off because we had to have the opening for this stupid story, this stupid addition.
As to why we needed Monique.
Why we personally chose Monique. Harry died in a car crash. Because he'd been drinking and driving. But he had met someone and he had told Evelyn he was happy and
he was finally feeling the way he had when he was with John.
Yeah.
And he never thought that he would have that opportunity again. So this was like his next big love.
Yeah.
And
it's really not at all clear why Harry was drinking and driving.
There was some reason. It didn't make sense to me, but there was some reason.
Oh.
Weren't they moving or something?
No, because the guy that he was with was
Oh,
married.
he was married!
Was
with
married.
a wife and kids, and he wanted to end it.
And the guy he was with said he couldn't be with him. He couldn't leave his family.
Mm-hmm.
And so Harry was drinking. That's why it was. So, yeah, get in a wreck. And Harry barely survives the wreck, but the other guy's dead. And so Evelyn says that I can't remember what it was. She was following. I don't even know.
Well, she was
Evelyn came up on the wreck.
She was in a car with a driver heading to somewhere to go meet Harry, I think, or pick up Connor. There was something she was going to, leaving the studio to go home or something. And then they came upon the wreck, and she didn't know who it was at first, and then she saw the car, and she knew it was Harry.
Mm-hmm.
And so then she had to, maybe the jokes just made it hard to speak.
Well, it won't settle in. Anyway, go ahead.
But she had to convince the driver to not say anything, and kind of paid him off, and they moved Harry's lover into the driver's seat, so that way Harry wasn't going to get dinged for drinking and driving. And then they pulled Harry out and brought him to the hospital. Yeah, where he later died. And then that's when we
find out. And by the way, let me just say, throughout the whole thing, Monique is making comments like, she wants something from me. And she must want it really bad because Evelyn was making concessions or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then there would be parts of I probably can't find them now just because I want to, with all of these stupid tabs. But at the end of a chapter, there would be foreshadowing I had no idea how much I would hate her or how bad it really was and that kind of thing. So, and of course we know from the get-go that Monique's dad had died in a car accident because he had been driving drunk. So, of course, who was with Harry? Monique's dad. Yeah. So that was the whole reason. Well, okay, so not the whole reason, I guess. But that was why Evelyn was offering all of this to Monique because
she felt guilty.
I don't think she felt guilty. Because remember, she said, I would do everything again if it protected the people I loved.
I guess she was kind of trying to make it right.
She was basically trying to pay reparations, I think. But anyway, yeah. Basically, and she had a letter that Monique's dad had written to Harry, basically saying why that, he couldn't leave him because he was staying with his family. Mm-hmm. Right? Yeah. And so she thought that Monique should have this letter.
Why?
Exactly. Why? But I guess, part of it was that she wanted Monique to know that her dad had not been driving. So that was that. Because I think there was something Monique said they couldn't figure out why he'd been drinking and driving. And so wanted to say that it wasn't, he wasn't. And that, she basically left him behind. He was dead. And they called it in. They called 911. So the only thing she did was put the blame on Monique's dad. She didn't kill him. She didn't leave him for dead. Right. She didn't even leave him. She called 911.
Yeah.
So the only thing was she put the blame for the accident on Monique's dad and took Harry away. in order to protect Harry's reputation. And so that was the big thing, and that Monique was absolutely furious over for about 5 minutes. And then she's not. She says she is, but...
And here we have Monique again, the emotional roller coaster.
I mean, for about 5 minutes, she's absolutely furious, can't stand the sight of her. And then she's still just fascinated with this woman. Whatever. And then she has a dream. And she wakes up for the dream knowing that she won't be able to do it today, but someday she might forgive Evelyn.
Like, forgive her for what? Like,
what?
I'm sorry, but...
Well, me too, because I'm like, yeah, it's not cool what she did, but it's not like she killed him.
No.
I mean, it would be worse if she was like, well, your dad was still alive and we just left.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been bad.
Yeah, that I could see, like, being very mad about, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But at that point...
He was already dead.
Yeah. And
I mean, it's not a good thing to do. It's obviously not excusable to tarnish a dead man's reputation and leave his family, questioning like that. It's not a good thing by any means, but I mean, they played it up like Evelyn murdered her dad. It was totally hyped that way.
Mm-hmm.
And I was going, what? This is the big reveal?
That's it?
This is it.
Is this what we've been foreshadowing this whole time?
Yeah. Okay, so these need to go in the fridge, don't they?
Yeah.
Now to chill. So Evelyn's daughter, Connor, died from cancer.
Breast cancer.
Breast cancer. And so this is the perfectly reasonable way. They did not have to bring Monique's dad into any of this. Harry could have just had a car accident and died without her dad being in the car. He could have just been upset because he broke up. I don't know, whatever. But Monique had written an article on euthanasia that apparently got her the attention of Vivant. That's why she got the job at Vivant.
Was it euthanasia or assisted suicide? Or that's the same thing?
Both. I don't know. Anyway, death by choice, death with dignity. And so she wrote this article, and this is why at first I had this impression that she must be some up-and-coming hotshot because of this article that was so good that got her the job of her dreams and apparently was now getting her attention from Evelyn Hugo. And so, and that's why I was so angry with her for being so stupid, because you're supposed to be some brilliant writer. Anyway, she had written this article and it had done well, and everybody was so impressed with this article. Okay, so Evelyn's daughter died. As it comes out, Evelyn has cancer and doesn't have long to live, which is why she's fine with caving into these demands of Monique's, because she knows it isn't going to be decades until this book can be published. It's going to be like now.
Yeah, by her choice.
And so at close to the end, Monique realizes that all of this is going on now because Evelyn is choosing to take her own life before she becomes ravaged by cancer. And why? Why not just say, I wanted to give this girl my story because she wrote this really beautiful, heartfelt article on euthanasia or assisted suicide. And that's why I could sense her empathy. I could sense that she understood. And it was an amazing article. And so that's why I chose her.
It was literally just right there.
But instead, we had to bring in Monique's dad for some manufactured drama. It was
good.
Dumb. It wasn't earth-shattering. It wasn't. I mean, I guess I didn't really expect it, but yet I wasn't bowled over by it. I certainly wasn't like, oh my gosh.
Me neither.
It was just dumb, and it just created this rift between Monique and Evelyn that didn't need to be there. She could have still been, because all it did in the end, for me anyway, was it made this constant bouncing back and forth. Oh, I think she's amazing. Oh, she's the devil incarnate. Oh, I'm still fascinated with her. Oh, I can't even stand to be near her. Who cares?
For real, though.
I mean, really? But I don't know. I guess she felt like she had to make some of this Monique story. But she could have drug out the Monique and David. Monique was married and separated from her husband. And
I feel like that would have made more sense. Because
Yeah.
here we are talking about a woman who's been married and divorced 7 times. Right? So why not focus on a woman who is currently going through a divorce?
Leave the parallel there.
Yeah.
But instead, in the middle of the story, David comes back and tries to reconcile with Monique, and
I hated this so much.
I know Monique is like thinking, I mean, not literally, but like it read like, what would Evelyn do?
WWED.
Yeah.
What would Evelyn do?
That was how she basically told her husband, David, to hit the road.
Mm-hmm.
What would Evelyn do?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, sure, okay, I can see, because she was obviously going back and forth with this being upset about, and he had been pretty petty when he left, the whole coffee table thing. The coffee table was apparently a big deal. But yeah, I think that could have been built up so much more, and that could have been kind of Monique's story climax.
Mm-hmm.
And it would have been fitting and satisfying, and even if I don't think it would have been so shoehorned in. I mean, it was really clunky the way it was. It really was. What would Evelyn do? And then she'd say that. She'd say something to David because, that's what Evelyn would have said.
Yeah.
Oh, I learned this from Evelyn. It didn't need to be like, that was so clunky. And I think if it had built so much more and left until the end, you wouldn't have to have Monique literally thinking Evelyn's thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
It could have been part of her own growth and how she applied what she learned from Evelyn in Evelyn's life to her own. And it would have been so much better.
Yeah.
It was just so dumb. I'm
Another
sorry.
missed opportunity.
That whole thing with her dad was just kind of dumb. So, I don't know. I didn't like it.
I didn't like that. I didn't like her and David's divorce. I thought that when Connor went off the deep end, that was a bit extreme.
Yeah.
This girl was like, what, 13?
Yeah, 13, 14.
13, 14, and she's out here partying, drinking, doing drugs, and having threesomes. Threesomes! Like, I mean, I'm sorry.
Okay,
but
you know what I really didn't like about that? Because, there's a lot of, well, not a lot, but, there tends to be talk about why homosexual couples can't be foster parents, shouldn't adopt. And to me, it's like you're showing this girl who grew up with 2 sets of parents, 2 moms, 2 dads, basically. And when she goes off the deep end, what happens? And I know that wasn't meant by that. I mean, I'm sure it wasn't meant by that, but it really did. It made me think, this is like the stereotypical reason that stupid people say that homosexual couples should not be able to adopt, or it struck me really wrong. And beyond the fact that it was just way overboard. I mean, okay. So if Connor had been a troubled girl prior to that, and then Harry died, okay, yeah, I could see her taking it. But you're like talking about what had been described as a fairly level-headed, doing well child, and then all of a sudden
Flip a switch.
goes crazy.
Yeah.
So I guess that was kind of my problem with it. There was so much manufactured drama that made no sense. And the fact that the whole husband drama, it was like 2 sets of reasons, and then Harry in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we were either doing it to distract from Celia and me, or we're doing it to further my career. And that was the two reasons. So I think a little more imagination on the 7 husbands would have been better, but it was just a constant, the same thing over and over.
I would have really liked to have seen one that she like actually loved, like not just as a friend like Harry, but like one that she like truly fell for and had that whole thing play out. And I don't know. Yeah, I needed some diversity with the husbands. They all just kind of sucked, and all of it was kind of just like boring and
Dumb.
repetitive and.
I know. Now, having said all that, and we have been going for well over an hour, so yeah, I should probably wrap it up at some point. But I liked the book.
I did.
It was engaging, and it was, I mean, yeah, it's kind of like Daisy Jones. I mean, obviously, Daisy Jones was pretty much based on Fleetwood Mac.
Truth.
And it felt like Evelyn Hugo was pretty much Elizabeth Taylor.
I know nothing about Elizabeth Taylor.
Well, she was married 7 times, but pretty close. But you know, there's always those stories about what Hollywood was really like, and you know, some of the actors that were really put forth as these, you know, heartthrobs and such were gay, and like Rock Hudson, you know. So I think it was interesting. It still kind of felt like, you know, watching a documentary on old Hollywood, and it was really cool. And I did like the little newspaper excerpts that they put in there. That was fun, and it was not a bad book by any means. It wasn't.
Like I said, I gave it 4 out of 5 stars.
Yeah. Most of the time, the writing was really good. There was times that the dialogue was not, but for the most part, I really don't think there was any, for me, quotable things. But I mean, it was good. It was good. I actually gave it 3 stars, but just because there was just more problems for me than, and it felt like Monique was supposed to be like us, our tie to Evelyn, and I did not like her. So it felt like to me like I did not like half the book. So that was why I went with 3 stars.
I have to disagree with you because I actually did like Evelyn.
Oh, did I say Evelyn? I'm sorry. I didn't like Monique.
Oh, yeah, no.
I felt like Monique was supposed to be like
the one that we liked.
The tie to Evelyn, to the present, to us. And I did not like her.
Yeah.
No, I liked Evelyn. I did. I thought she was manipulative, and
that's why I liked her.
About manipulative. I think, you know, the fact that she had to be manipulative in order to get what she wanted, and she was going to get what she wanted. And she pretty much did not care who got drugged down with her in the process. But I think that she was a product of her environment.
Yes.
Because I think she was more than ready to be a wife with Dawn and probably a mother at some point. But
I don't know if I would say that early on.
Maybe not that early on, but I think if they had been able to stay together, he'd been worth a crowd. Anyway, you know.
I think she was still too focused on becoming a big star.
Well, she was.
To even really consider being a mother. And I think she talked about that too, about how like if she had a kid, then she's going to have to take a step back from acting. And she was still kind of rising at that point, hadn't quite reached the peak. So I think it worked really well that she had a kid when she was with Harry, Because I
Oh
think
yeah,
once she like
absolutely. No, I'm just thinking that. I mean, I think Evelyn was sincere in marrying Dawn.
yes,
You know, Ernie, Ernie.
Ernie.
He was a manipulation, pure and simple.
Oh yeah, she had no feelings for him. She used
No.
him for sure.
No, I don't think she ever meant to stay with him. But I think Dawn, she went into sincerely. So she had. I mean, she wasn't all manipulation. I think her manipulations came when the world would not
Do what she wanted.
do what she and not even that. Not do what she wanted, but it wasn't fair. It wasn't a fair time for women. It wasn't, and so when she was trying to be sincere and then the world basically kicked her in the teeth because that's not the way it worked back then she kicked back. But I mean, she wasn't a bad person per se. I think if, things had been more fair at that time, she wouldn't have had to have been as manipulative as she was to get what she wanted.
Yeah.
But anyway, she's a strong person.
She was.
They had absolutely no trouble using her body to get
Oh no.
what she needed, what she wanted. So anyway.
I don't know if I have any good quotes.
There was nothing that stood out to me as quotable.
I have never let anyone make you feel ordinary. That was, I suppose. Nobody deserves anything. It's simply a matter of who's willing to go and take it for themselves. I have something marked in there, but nothing that's I like. Not like Daisy Jones, where I was just like I said, everything was quotable to me.
Nothing I'm going to cross stitch on a pillow anytime soon. But like I said, it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad at all.
I'm glad I read it.
Yeah. I think I would recommend it to people just based on, don't go into it with too high expectations.
Yeah.
Go into it to have fun and you'll be fine.
Yeah. Because it doesn't live up to the hype, but it was still a good read. I still enjoyed it.
Yeah. Yes. Me too.
Yeah. Okay.
Well,
That
we're
was
not
that.
going to get to the rest of our cookies. And I just wanted to say for a minute, these cookies were supposed to take 15 minutes to prep, 10 minutes to chill, and 10 minutes to cook. And it is almost an hour and a half, and they're still chilling.
We're not good multitaskers, like books and baking. That's
We're not good
us.
multitaskers. Probably it took me 20 minutes just to put the flour in, but there you go. Anyway, I'm sure Amy will probably have pictures of the cookies on her Instagram or her blog, and I'm sure they're going to be amazing at some point.
If they ever get made.
If they ever get done. So anyway, you got any more?
I think that's all I got.
Okay. So because we're so late, we're skipping what we should have read in June because it's already July 9th. And neither one of us read the June book anyway, which was Ride of Her Life. And so we just decided instead of doubling up in July because Amy's leaving on a trip to Glacier soon, and I'm sure she won't have much reading time.
I'm still bringing books on my vacation.
Well, of course.
But
yeah. So we just decided to skip that book. Maybe at some point we'll buddy read it. I don't know. But it was my pick, and honestly, it was kind of my least favorite pick of the year, so I didn't mind letting it go at all. And we just didn't want to double up because, again, it's already June 9th, and I haven't. Whatever. July, and I haven't started reading our next book either. It is this one, right?
I think so. My Best Friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendrix.
I can't put it down. Probably be backwards, won't it? Anyway, yes. Best Friend's Exorcism. So we are going, this was the July book. We're just going to go ahead and this is going to be July. So if you're following along, and waiting for us to schedule a time to talk about our June books. Sorry, we're not going to do it. So we almost didn't get this one done.
Yeah. Life's been a little crazy this summer.
June was nuts.
June was
So
nuts.
we knew it would be going in, just what like that crazy. Didn't think we'd be a month late. But anyway,
It's okay. It's fine.
that is what we're gonna do.
And
So
we'll post on our Instagrams, like the blog's Instagram and Kelly's Instagram, when we set a date for this book.
Mhm.
I'm super stoked about this. I love Grady Hendrix too. He's another favorite author of mine. I read the Final Girl Support Group by him, and it was just chef's kiss. It was amazing. So
I haven't read anything by him. This will be my first, but I do have the Southern Book Club's Guide to Vampire
Vampire Slaying. or
Slaying.
something,
Yes,
yeah.
I have that one, and so I really want to read that too. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. This is next.
Okay. Well, it's been over 10 minutes. We need to get the cookies in the oven, and I don't have anything else to say about it. We're doing all of that. So, I guess.
I'm Kelly,
And I'm Amy.
and we are Tea Time, and that is all. Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Yay!